Absolutely, and if you didn't watch the introductory video, it's fine. I'm not upset about that, but I did talk about how Excel or Google Sheets is used widely. Come on and open up. Is used widely in the business world to calculate money and or math functions. And I have a younger sister who's brilliant with computers and all kinds of applications, and she got a job one time simply because she was Excel proficient. There were people that were older than her, there were people that had more work experience than her, but her skill set was what the company needed, and it got her in the door, and she moved up pretty quickly.
I think a lot of adults will use it because they've got experience in it.
Absolutely.
But I think because we're getting told, like, using desktop version, that's much easier.
Could possibly be. So for those of you that came in late, you probably want to go ahead and open up your project and get your project notes out. There's some extra copies over here. There was a video that I did yesterday, part 1. This is going to be part 2, and I'm going to start on page 8. So even if you've done page 8, you might want to go to page 8 and follow along with me as we go. So in the first video, I'm just going to do a quick review. We call these, if you look up at the board, we call these columns. Carter, will you shut the blinds? Merritt, Isabella, will you shut the blinds so everybody can see it through better? We call these columns, and they're named with letters. And we call these rows, and they're named with numbers. So on page 8, step 5 says to create the sum function. Well, what does sum mean? Adding, that's right. And all of your functions are over on the far right hand side, and sum is the most commonly used one, adding in Excel, and it's represented by the Greek letter sigma. So we're going to come into cell I1 and use that sum function, and it's pretty easy. You come into the cell, you click on the sigma, and sum is going to be right there at the top. And then it's going to ask you, okay, well, what is it that we actually want to sum? So if you look in step D, what cell does it tell us to select? What cell does it tell us to select in step D? F what? F3. Okay, and then from there it tells you to type in column F. What that means is that no matter how many expenses we add in this column, it's going to always add them all up. It's going to look in the whole column, and no matter how many we add, it's going to add them all up. And the key here is to hit enter. If you don't hit enter, it doesn't put the function in. Okay? So we're going to flip the page to page 11. It says to create a running total. What is a running total? A sum that keeps going. You're exactly right. I know. That's a good guess. So on number 6 on page 11, it says to create a running total which displays money remaining, do the following. Click the cell next to money remaining. Type in the equal sign, and then type in 1,500. Now, why are we typing in 1,500? That's how much money I gave you for the trip. You're exactly right. Okay? Now, are we finished? No, we're not, but I went ahead and hit enter. I want everybody to give me your eyeballs and look up at the board because I want to show you something. Whatever is in this cell, is also up here. And it tells you in this is called the function bar, f of x. Have you heard that in the math class? Okay, so this is the function bar, and it tells us what calculation is in this cell. The cell's just going to give us the number that's the calculation, but up here we see the enter sign. So if you accidentally hit enter or need to adjust what's in your cell, you just come up here to this area, and you can type it in right there. So in the f of x bar, I see that I need to type the minus sign. So from my budget, and then I'm going to select cell I1. Well, that makes sense because what is cell I1? What
That's
have
how much money like being spent.
Yes, this is the money that we've spent so far. And so now we're going to say this square equals our budget minus the money we've spent so far. You can really set this up for a monthly budget for
How
yourself.
did you do that?
And it's already done by times by how many days you're staying there.
Yes, we're going to put all of that in this column, and as we add up all these things in this column, it's going to give us a budget over here. Let me show you what I mean, even though it's not in the project.
So would you do like, under cost, you would do like the cost per night?
Well, we're going to get there. That's just a step ahead.
Okay.
But say our first thing makes us spend $500, then the next thing makes us spend what? $1,000. I'm just going to put some money in here. Look at the number. What's happening over on the side? Yes, it's the money spent is going up, and then the money remaining is going down. So I'm going to come back to this because this is fake. I'm just using it as an example. And I noticed that I had an error because when I typed in a number here, did it subtract? Nope. So I'm going to come back to this cell, and I'm going to look in my function, and this should have said F2. So I'm going to put F2 right there because that was my mistake. I think y'all even told me that. All right, so that is going to be the second part of setting this up, and it's going to get us to page 13 of the project. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video and then answer questions in class, but post this for everybody else.